Welcome back to our channel, fellow Port Charles addicts. Today is another beautiful day to dive deep into the absolute chaos that is our favorite daytime drama. We are so glad you are here with us. Grab your coffee, tea, or whatever you need to get through this because we have a massive theory to unpack right now. Let's jump straight into the madness. I cannot even believe they are doing this. I am sitting here staring at my screen completely and utterly mind blown by what just happened on the May 7th episode. Are we really going there? Are the writers actually setting up the most obvious anvil-dropping storyline of the entire year? Because if you watch that scene between Emma Scorpio Drake and Dr. Britt Westbourne, you know exactly what I am talking about. My heart is literally pounding just typing this out because the implications are massive. Massive. I need to vent. I need to scream. And I need to know if I am the only one who sees this absolute freight train coming right at us. Let's back up. For a second, let's really look at what went down. Emma goes into General Hospital for her standard routine annual gynecological exam. She's expecting to see Dr. Frida Navarro. You know, a normal drama-free appointment. But who walks in? The Brit herself. Britt Westbourne. I actually yelled at my television. Why on earth is Britt filling in for Dr. Navarro? I know hospitals have scheduling conflicts, but in Port Charles, nothing is a coincidence. When a legacy character walks into a doctor's office and gets a surprise substitute doctor who happens to be one of the most controversial characters on the canvas, you know, the writers are cooking something up. And what they are cooking up is a recipe for absolute disaster. Can we talk about the history here for a minute? Emma's reaction was completely justified. She was not thrilled to see Britt, and who can blame her? Britt's history in this town, especially when it comes to reproductive health and bobbies, is legendary for all. The wrong reasons. Remember when she stole Lulu's embryo? Yeah, we haven't forgotten. Emma knows the stories. Emma's family knows the stories. The tension in that exam room was so thick you could cut it with a scalpel. I was holding my breath waiting for Emma to just walk right out the door and demand to reschedule. But she didn't. She relented. She stayed. And that, my friends, was her first mistake. But then the scene took this weirdly wholesome turn, and that's what terrifies me the most. Britt was actually nice. She was helpful. Emma brought up the fact that her current birth control medication has been giving her terrible headaches, which, by the way, is a very real, very relatable issue. So, Britt playing the role of the attentive, caring physician suggests switching Emma to a brand new birth control medication. A different pill to stop the headaches. On the surface, it looked like a really great character moment. It looked like the writers were trying to soften the dynamic between these two. A sort of olive branch to ease the long-term tension between Britt and Emma. But I don't buy it for a single second, not for 1 second. Because then Britt had to go and open her mouth and say the line. The line. The line that is going to haunt this show for the next 9 months. Britt literally chuckled and told Emma, "Well, if it doesn't work, you can complain about me to my face." I paused my TV. I literally paused it and just stared at the wall. Who says that? Who jokes about birth control not working on a soap opera? That is not a throwaway line. That is a neon sign flashing pregnancy plot ahead in bright red letters. You do not joke about contraceptive failure in Port Charles, unless someone is about to end up with a bun in the oven. And Emma, sweet naive Emma, actually scheduled her follow-up appointment with Britt instead of Dr. Navarro. She suggested coming back to Britt to monitor how the new medication works out. I'm screaming, "Emma, no. You are walking right into the trap. Soaps. Love, and I mean love to use the switch birth control or botched pill transition trope. It is a daytime staple. We have seen it a million times, but this one feels so perfectly orchestrated. Birth control isn't 100% effective in the real world anyway, but in Soapland, a new prescription might as well be a prescribed pregnancy test waiting to turn positive. Let's talk about the timing. The timing is almost too perfect to be an accident. Giovanni Giacomo just took Emma on this incredibly romantic getaway to New York City. They went to Broadway, they saw Aladdin, they hung out backstage with Michael James Scott. It was a magical, sweeping, romantic trip. And what happens right after a magical romantic trip for a young couple in love? They get a massive dose of reality. Gio and Emma have been getting so close, and this NYC trip was a huge milestone for them. So of course the universe, or rather the GH writing team, has to throw a massive wrench into their happiness. A baby changes everything. I know some people are loving this idea. I've seen the forums, I've seen the group chats. Some fans are saying, oh, a Gio and Emma baby would be so cute and sure they are adorable together. But personally, I am dreading it. They are so young. Gio is just finding his footing getting back into his music, playing his violin, dealing with his own life stuff. And Emma is currently drowning in stress over her grandmother Anna Devane. Anna is locked away in a mental health clinic in France, completely spiraling. Because Ross Coleman gaslit her with that Caesar face and getup, Emma is worried sick about Anna. The absolute last thing Emma needs right now is a surprise pregnancy. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back to the medical side of this. How exactly is this going to fail? Is the new pill just a dud? Did Britt make a mistake with the dosage? Or is it the classic transition period failure where Emma doesn't wait long enough for, and the new pill to take effect before? You know, celebrating her return from New York with Gio. Whatever the mechanical reason is, the emotional fallout is going to be nuclear. Because when Emma inevitably pees on that stick and sees those two pink lines, she is not going to blame bad luck. She's going to blame Britt Westbourne. Can you even imagine the scenes we're going to get Emma storming into General Hospital, tracking Britt down in the hallways and completely losing her mind? You did this to me. You gave me the wrong pills. Emma is going to remember that exact joke Britt made complain to my face, and she is going to do exactly that. The drama is going to be off the charts. And frankly, Britt does not have the bandwidth for this right now. Britt is currently fighting for her actual life. Let's look at Britt's current situation. She is being blackmailed by Cyrus Colum for her life-saving Huntington's disease medication. Jen Sidwell is threatening to eliminate her permanently because she doesn't want to finish Cesar Faison's dangerous cold fusion prototype. Cassie's fake Nathan is running around kidnapping Jocelyn Jackson, holding her hostage at Windermere. Oh, and Rocco Falconry just confessed to Britt in the GH chapel that AJ is the one who shot Colum, not Jason. Britt's plate is not just full. It is overflowing with lethal, mob-level, WSB-level chaos. And now she's going to have a furious, pregnant Emma Scorpio Drake screaming at her over a botched birth control prescription. Let's take a quick tangent about Dr. Frietta Navarro, by the way. Where even was she? The show just casually tossed out that Britt was filling in for her, but I need to know the backstory there. Was she stuck in surgery? Did she get caught up in some off-screen drama? Or did the writers literally just bench her for the day so they could force this Britt and Emma interaction? Because if it's the latter, that just proves my point even more. They moved heaven and earth and the GH staff schedule just to get Britt into that room to write that specific prescription. It's so painfully obvious when you really step back and look at the mechanics of how this soap operates. But seriously, can we talk about how unfair this is to Emma for just a second? She finally found a good guy in Gio. She finally had a moment of pure bliss in New York. And now, because she wanted to get rid of some stupid headaches, her entire life trajectory is going to change. It makes me so mad for her. Why can't our favorites just be happy for more than 5 minutes? I know. Happiness doesn't make for good daytime TV. But still, it's so frustrating watching. A character you've loved since she was a little girl walks straight into a life-altering disaster, completely oblivious. She really thought she was just making a smart health choice. She thought she was taking control of her body. Instead, she handed the steering wheel over to the GH writer's room, and we all know they drive like maniacs. And what about Gio? How is Gio going to react to this? He's a good guy. He'll probably step up. But this is going to completely derail his plans. He was just talking about how Port Charles wouldn't know what hit it when Michael James Scott comes to perform at the Savoy. Gio is focusing on his art, his music, his future. A baby is going to force him to grow up overnight. And let's not forget, Gio has his own complicated family dynamics to navigate. Adding a Scorpio Drake baby into the mix, the family trees in this town are already tangled enough. Sometimes I contradict myself, I know. 1 minute I'm saying I hate this plot. The next I'm excited for the drama. But that's what being a soap fan is all about, right? You hate the pain they put your favorite characters through, but you live for the explosive confrontations. And Emma versus Britt showdown is going to be Emmy-worthy material. I just know it. Emma has that fiery Scorpio spirit. She is Robin's daughter, for crying out loud. She's not going to take this lying down. I've been watching the show for years, and I can tell you right now, they do not waste scenes like that gynecological exam. They could have easily just had Emma mention to Gio, "Oh, I saw Dr. Navarro today. Everything is fine." But no, they specifically wrote Brit into that scene. They specifically wrote the dialogue about headaches. They specifically wrote the prescription switch. And they specifically wrote that ominous joking thread about complaining to her face. You literally cannot spell it out any clearer. I know some fans are trying to rationalize it. They're saying, oh, it's just a way to show Brit's human side. It's just a way to integrate Brit into more hospital storylines that don't involve the mob or her crazy family. Yeah, nice try. Have you guys ever watched General Hospital? The hospital is just the set where the trauma happens. It's never just a medical update. Every pill, every chart, every lab test is a ticking time bomb. Remember when they tried to do a normal medical storyline with literally anyone else in this town? Yeah, didn't work then either. It always leads back to a massive scandal. So here's my official prediction, stamped and sealed late at night while I'm running on pure adrenaline and caffeine. Within the next few weeks, Emma is going to start feeling nauseous. She's going to blame it on the stress of the Anna Devane situation. Or maybe she'll think she picked up a bug in New York. But then she's going to miss a cycle. The panic will set in. She'll buy a test at the pharmacy, probably trying to hide from someone nosy like Tracy Quartermain or Maxie. And boom. Positive, the world stops. And her very first thought after the initial shock is going to be pure, unadulterated rage directed at Dr. Britt Westbourne. And honestly, I am here for it. I am absolutely here for the messy, complicated, emotional roller coaster this is going to cause. I want to see Gio's reaction. I want to see Mac and Felicia's reaction. Oh my gosh, Mac is going to lose his mind. And Britt, poor, doomed, messy Britt. She's going to be standing there dealing with Jen Sidwell's death threats, and then she's going to get a chart slapped in her face by a pregnant Emma. It's television gold. It's going to be an absolute train wreck, and I cannot wait to watch every single second of it. Okay, I need to wrap this up before I wake up my entire house with my furious typing. But I had to get this out of my system. You guys get it right. You see